Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Ken, and today we're here to review the film Drive.
Drive
from
with
2011.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling. We got Albert Brooks in this film. Ron Perlman.
Bryan
Cranston.
Yeah.
You got the girl from Promising Young Woman. I can't think of her name off the top of my head.
Carey
Mulligan. A lot of people in this movie.
Oscar
Isaac.
Yeah.
Before he was really
Loaded
anything.
cast.
Yeah, we're traveling back recently, checking out some older films, some movies that I've always loved, but Michelle hasn't seen before. This was a first time watch for you, so we're gonna give our thoughts on Drive. We watched this nice premium Second Sight 4K edition right here. Look at that thing.
Fancy stuff.
Didn't it make the movie better knowing that you were watching this?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Before we get into giving our thoughts on this film, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We do movie reviews, we do TV reviews, we do fun, entertaining live streams every Monday night.
That's right.
And also,
like the video.
Like she said. And then comment down below, guys. This movie is 13 years old. If you have seen this film, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And also let us know if you're going to watch it based on our review here today. But all right, let's talk about Drive. First time watch for you. What did you think of this movie?
Yeah, I mean, this was a movie that I've been hearing about forever. You claim that I've seen it before, but maybe fell asleep and quit watching it. I don't know.
Here's my memory. I remember us laying in the bed, and I think maybe
that's inappropriate.
Well, I'm a husband and wife. We can lay in the same bed together, right? I remember you had maybe fallen asleep already or were getting ready to fall asleep, and I booted up Drive on Netflix. So this was before I was really heavy into collecting physical media. This is probably 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
I remember watching it while you were sleeping, I think.
Gotcha.
So it makes sense that you don't remember it, even though I feel like you probably saw the first 20 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
I think you've seen part of it before.
Yeah, I don't know. So I've been, when I hear about these movies just all the time, everybody talking about them, they're just those universally loved movies. I don't know. I'm like, okay, I need to watch these movies, and
this is a film lover's movie right here.
Yeah. So I was glad to finally watch this, I guess, and remember it. I don't know. I don't know. This I've been we watched it yesterday or last night, and I feel like I've been thinking about it, trying to figure out.
It's a tough movie to digest, I feel like, in one watch, because when I watched it way back, I didn't think it was that great, and I remember being bored watching it. Then I rewatched it a few years later, and every time I rewatch this movie, I get into it even more.
Gotcha.
And I just learned to appreciate it for all of these different reasons. But
yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's just different. Ryan Gosling, he's playing this kind of
very stoic.
Yeah, very stoic, hard to read character. I feel like even by the end of it, I don't feel like you really get to know him very well. I mean, that by the end of it, he's a good guy, for sure. He's, a good guy, but I don't know. He just doesn't have very much to say. He's a man of few words in this movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You mentioned, how old is this?
It 13 years old. So this was early on in his career.
I mean, you can definitely tell he has a little bit.
I say early on. 7 years before this, he did The Notebook. So
right.
Ryan Gosling's been around for a while.
But he definitely he still has that kind of baby face in this, I feel like.
Yeah.
He does look, younger than he does today, obviously.
I feel like this was one of the first. Blue Valentine was also another one where people started to take him a little bit more seriously, as an actual actor. He was turning in really great performances around this time. The plot of the movie, if you haven't seen it, you got Ryan Gosling. He's basically a stunt driver by day, and he's a getaway driver by night. And I just love how they bring you into this movie and this world. I love how they do the getaway drive sequences. I think they're really well done and really well orchestrated. So that right there just kind of brings me right into the world and kind of sets the mood for this movie. So I just like the vibe. I like the tone. I like the stoic nature of Ryan Gosling in this movie. I get into him. You understand him, I feel like, even though he doesn't say everything. You don't need everything explained. The movie does a lot. Like, you noticed this early on, how it doesn't like tell
Fill
you
in all the
everything. It
blanks.
doesn't fill in everything. Like, it requires you to be like, oh, this must have happened for this to happen.
Yeah, the
That kind
scenes
of
are
thing.
the scenes are very. They kind of skip some scenes, if
Yeah.
you will. And they're scenes that you can just put two and two together.
It's very, what I like to say, artsy fartsy. It's very artistic because it is directed by Nicholas Winding Refn, and he is a what I would call an auteur filmmaker. He really puts his style and stamp on the films that he does. But he really he has an odd style to him, I feel like, in sensibility as a filmmaker. So whereas you could watch this and think it's kind of a thriller, it's tight, it's an action film. It is a romance as well, I would
Yeah.
say. There's romantic elements, but he adds his artistic flair to like every scene and moment in the film.
It's one of those. I think you would. I don't know if you'd call it a slow burn or not. I mean, there's definitely stuff like that's happening throughout. I'm kind of like thinking about the plot and everything. I feel like they kind of add in these extra storylines, and I don't know if they were necessarily needed.
Yeah.
Like,
There's a lot of moving parts for
did
sure.
he need to be a stunt driver,
Yeah.
or could he have just been a driver, at night?
Or could he have just worked at the auto repair shop? With
Right,
Bryan
like
Cranston?
there's so many things, and I mean maybe they were just trying to show that like stuntmen can't live on that income alone, so they kind of
Yeah.
have multiple streams of income. I don't really know, but
And I think
for-
they were trying to show like the inner workings of this city and the system and just the mob bosses and all that kind of the
Yeah,
crookedness of the town and everything.
For me, it was just maybe a tad confusing as far as like everybody's connection, and again just all the different layers of like his job. Like you said, he's a stuntman in the day, he's a driver at night, he also works at a car shop, and there's a guy who wants him to be like a NASCAR driver, and
Yeah.
I don't know, there's just like kind of a lot going on, a lot of like you said.
Well, not NASCAR, just like a regular race. I think it could have been NASCAR.
Maybe not NASCAR, but it looked like a NASCAR
Yeah,
that they were
I don't
fixing
really
up.
understand the differences between all of them anyway.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just felt like there was just a lot. Kind of felt a little like a lot was going on.
I feel like when it comes to like Carey Mulligan and Ryan Gosling, like it is very like hyper stylized and very artistic. But when you get to the scenes with like Bryan Cranston, Albert Brooks, and Ron Perlman, they're all sitting around talking. Like everything's a little bit more straightforward, I feel like, as far as how things are done in film. So you have that kind of conflict of styles, I feel like.
Yeah,
That makes the movie really interesting to watch.
Yeah, like even with him and Carey Mulligan's character, they don't ever really say that much either.
They don't
it's just
communicate a lot.
Yeah, there's just, and it was almost very, I don't know, like high school, their relationship. Like it was just lots of like smiling and, I don't know,
like
just
her husband, Oscar Isaac,
her
is in prison,
husband-
then he gets out, and yeah.
I mean, like her husband, like is literally at the table, and
You think
she's
there's going to
like,
be this big conflict, and there's really not.
yeah, I mean, she's at the table with both of them, and she's almost just like, what do you say, gooning eyes? I don't even know. She's like
Grimacing? Is that what they call
she's
it?
just like looking over at Ryan Gosling with
Googly
these
eyes.
Googly eyes. There
Yeah.
we go. I don't know. So just some, interesting choices for sure. But overall it was still a, good movie. It's still entertaining. I just don't know if everything necessarily works for
Were
me.
you surprised at the level of violence that the movie had? In particular, like the last half of the movie, I'd say, is very violent.
Well, I kind of knew that it did that just because I've seen pictures of Ryan Gosling with blood on him. I knew that there was like a hammer that he used at some point. And so I knew that was coming. But yeah, I mean, it definitely.
It's kind of jarring, some of the scenes.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the movie's very soft and delicate, I feel like, for a
Right.
while, and then it just really ramps up.
Yeah, for sure. So,
But I do want to talk about some of the other characters. I think Albert Brooks is freaking awesome in this movie. He's so cold. As like the lead, I don't know what you would call him, like the lead head boss
Yeah.
mob guy.
Yeah.
But I think he's like super chilling as this guy. Just the way that he goes about his business and doing things
Yeah.
is just really cool, and I think he delivers it perfectly. So I love Albert Brooks in this.
Yeah, his voice kind of throws me off.
Yeah.
Just because.
Well, you know him from This Is
Yeah.
40.
Yeah.
So he's kind of a funner character in that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to like not
Yeah.
remember that. But yeah, I agree. He was still quite like
He's also the voice of the dad in Finding Nemo.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that again kind of makes it hard to like see him as
Well, that's what I think. That's what makes it so like chilling and creepy to me.
Well,
like,
he plays like this. He's like this friendly guy.
Yeah.
But like also he'll f you up like
what he does to Bryan Cranston like just messes me up.
Yeah.
And what he says afterwards, like it just chills me. I don't know. Something
like
about it.
he definitely does what he needs to do to get things done.
Yeah.
Obviously he knows how, he's been doing that. Like that's what he does. But yeah, I don't know.
I like Bryan Cranston in this as well, but he plays, a
playing like
different
a
type of character. He's a
pushover.
little, like squirmy, in between guy. I would say.
He's a little like sleazy.
Yeah.
A little bit.
And this
but-
was the height of Breaking Bad. I mean, this was 2010, 2011, so this was like right in his Breaking Bad run. So
Yeah.
he was definitely very popular as an actor around this time. And I think Ron Perlman's great for what he does. He's just a sleazeball in the movie.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
a lot of good people, a lot of good performances in the movie. Oscar Isaac is also very good, and he looks really young as well.
he does. Yeah.
But yeah, that's Drive. What are your final thoughts on Drive?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it was good.
Okay.
It was good. But I
I think it's a
don't.
masterpiece. A lot of people call this a masterpiece.
I just don't know if I am maybe the right audience for it. If I can appreciate it like it needs to be appreciated. So for me, it's just a 3.5 out of 5.
Oh my goodness, 3.5.
Yeah.
Oh, look, this one's really tough for me because I really love this movie. Like I said, every
Of
time
course
I
you
watch
do.
it, I get. This is another one like we just talked about the guests, but great music like all throughout.
They feel
Nice,
very
like
similar
a synth
a little bit.
pop
Yeah.
kind of score. But I'm really close to giving this a 5.
Wow.
I don't know if I'm quite there. I do think it's kind of a modern masterpiece of a movie, but I will give it a 4 points. Can I go 4.75?
Nope.
I'll do a 4.5 then. I don't
Okay.
know if I'm quite ready to give this movie a 5, but I'm very, very close. Give me a couple more watches, maybe I'll be there. But I
Interesting.
do love this movie. I
Okay.
really do. But that is our review of Drive. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the like button, and comment down below if you've seen this film. What are your thoughts? And we'll see you next time.
Bye.